MotoAmerica on beIN Sports is presented by Dunlop and the all-new Sport Max Q3 Plus. Now you don't have to sacrifice mileage to get top performance. Dunlop Q3 Plus. And powered by Kawasaki. Let the good times roll. Welcome back to Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca in Monterey, California. You can see the Supersport Superstock 600 grid is starting to be cleared out. And that means that we are just a few minutes away from getting things underway, Jason. And it was quite a qualifying performance, I would have to say, by Gerlach.
Yeah.
That lap time was fat, 25.4.
Yeah, you can see it here, 25.4 for Gerlach on the front row. JD Beach right next to him. Valentin de Bees on that front row too, and that's the guy I want to see if he can pull along Benny Solis and maybe get a battle going there. If JD has found something to go with Garrett, it's going to be interesting. Daytona Anderson right there in the middle of your second row with Nick McFadden, first of our Superstock qualifiers on the second row. Great job by Nick. Came back from that injury and proven his showing some real stuff here. Jason Aguilar, Michael Gilbert, Shane Richardson on row 3. Row 4, Ashton Yates, best qualifying of the year from him, as well as Andrew Lee. Two young riders doing a great job. Alex Phillips, son of Rob Phillips.
Wow.
He's riding MV Augusta here, so it's great to see him joining our series. Connor Blevins, Braden Orton, Jody Berry on row 5. Row 6, we got Brandon Cleland, Caroline Olsen. Good job for Gage Reese there. Row 6, as these guys get ready to go out for their warm-up lap. Nolan Lampkin, JC Camacho, and Jarrett Necessny and Mark Rhodes are going to round out our field. I think that we've got a few more guys there on the list. We've got Robert Pierce, Daniel Diaz, Jarrett Nassasny, Ryan Harper, and Josh Picard all went through on our last chance qualifier.
Not too long ago. Just went through last chance qualifying race. The top 5 transfer into this race. Usually they get 2 shots at it. For those people in Superstock 600 that don't qualify on the time cut, percentage time, of course, 107%.
A couple other guys, just so people know, that might have some fans out there. We got JC Camacho still in this race. Ezra Bovier, Cameron's brother, qualified. Also Xavier Zayat, Andy DeBrino. There were some other guys that we just didn't quite see in our graphic, but they are out there. They are rolling. So if you're watching us on beIN, don't worry, we got you covered. Here's our Kawasaki keys to the race. You know, first off, Greg and I have talked about it a lot. Gerlach dominates qualifying. To put it in perspective, he'd be on the 4th row of Superbike. Now, what makes that ironic is those first 4 rows all had qualifying tires in Superbike, purposely built qualifying tires. This guy's doing it on that new Dunlop tire that you saw on our program here just a few minutes ago. So he dominates qualifying. Who's going to go with him? Surprise podiums. It seems like whenever we come to Laguna, we get somebody who's a surprise podium finisher. Who's that going to be? We've had the Bees, and we've had Benny up there on the podium this year. Is there anybody else that could maybe be up there on that podium and be a surprise here at Laguna in front of all these world people? And then Superstock battle. It's going to be a big one today. We got Nick McFadden, Aguilar, Gilbert, Richardson, Ashton Yates, Andrew Lee, all battling. These guys it's going to be a huge battle between all of them. You know, I'm keeping an eye on Shane Richardson. He hasn't won yet this year. Everybody else has. We've had doubles at every round.
Yep.
Jason Aguilar being our latest. Are we going to have a repeat winner here, or are we going to have a new winner today in Superstock?
4 winners so far in the Superstock 600 class. Aguilar, Gilbert, Blevins, and McFadden, all, like Jason said, doing the double. But that, no matter what happens, the streak is going to be snapped, at least for the moment, because we only have 1 race from Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca for Supersport. So you can see an entirely full grid of riders here, all making it on the time cut, plus the 5 that transferred in from the last chance qualifier. The grid is formed up and we're ready to get racing. Left part of your screen, watch number 1. Is he going to be able to get the launch he wants, or can somebody else get ahead of him as we head down in turn number 2?
It's a good start by JD Beach. He's got to get out in front of Garrett right off the bat. And then he's got to hope that Valentin or Benny rough Garrett up. I think, you know, if he has found something, he is going to keep firing right back at Garrett if Garrett tries to go by. Now, the thing about Laguna Seca that makes it different than anywhere else is the roll speed. You're going to hear us talking about that a lot. That this corner right here yesterday, Greg, Garrett Gerlach looked like he had 5 miles an hour. The Bees goes down right off the bat. Valentin de Bees down in turn 3. So, man,
wow.
It's just, that's the pace. The pace is being pushed.
So that leaves H35 rider on that Honda CBR 600RR, Benny Solis, to try to chase down these Yamahas.
Oh, man, this
that
is
was so weird. I mean, that's what you talked about.
You know, Greg, that you say it's weird. That corner is just one that bites everybody. That corner is so hard, so difficult. You don't even feel like you have to be getting in there fast, and it can just happen so quickly. There you go. Garrett Gerlach takes the lead. Now, we are going to see, is JD going to fire right back? Garrett Gerlach, like we said, he likes to roll through these corners, and that's where his advantage has been coming. His third and fourth splits yesterday were amazing, and we are in that section right now. JD's got to see if he can do something with him real quick. He's got to fire back quickly, Greg. You see Nick McFadden back there behind Benny Solis.
This is the advantage of having those split time sheets. So after each session, riders go back to their truck and with their crew chiefs, and they look at all these split times, and Garrett knows exactly where he's putting in the most time over JD Beach, even from this morning's warm-up, and it was that section of the track that he was trying to maximize. So JD Beach trying to stay in tow right now, a little tighter line to the bottom of turn number 2, and it looks like Benny Solis starting to distance himself a little bit in that back battle, as we saw our first Superstock 600 rider coming into your screen right there. Looks like Nick McFadden
doing a good job.
So right now up front, though, it's Monster Energy, Yamalu, YES, Graves, Yamahas, and there goes JD Beach. He's going to try him right here.
That's what he's got to do. He has to do that, and he's got to just basically, you don't want to see these guys come together again. And I use the word he's got to rough him up. I don't mean that in a bad way. I'm saying that he's got to let Garrett know, I'm not letting you go no matter what. If he lets Garrett get out in front and start just running the lines that he wants to run, and you can see Garrett setting JD up again as they come into the corkscrew. He's not able to get by. But see, right now, he's got to slow Garrett up. That's what he's got to try to do. Now, we're going to be paying attention to the lap times. Just for you folks at home, they did a 28.6 from a standing start on their first lap. 26.8 was our quickest time this morning in warm-up. So what JD's got to do right now is do exactly what he's doing. Look at him blocking, Greg. See how long it's taken him to get back over to the right side of that turn?
Yep.
For turn 11, that he's just kind of running this. We've seen races, a lot of races won like this. Valentino Rossi, Casey Stoner come to mind that year that Stoner was so dominant, and Rossi roughed him up the whole race. That's what you're going to have to see here from JD Beach.
And when you're talking about roughing up, here's the difference: is JD Beach holding a really tight line through turn number 2. Garrett Gerlach's, one of his strengths as a rider is his ability to roll through a corner with tremendous lean angle, and this new Dunlop tire that we featured earlier on in the show gives him that.
Valentin's just out of our screenshot there, but you know, it's weird. I mean, I hate to say it, I've crashed there a few times myself, and you don't even really notice it. You just all of a sudden you're on the deck, and what just happened right now? So
back to my point though about Garrett Gerlach and JD Beach. There's a different riding style, and Jason, when you talk about roughing him up, I think what you're really saying is JD has got to disrupt the lines and the roll speed that Garrett Gerlach is able to take. Gerlach now up on the rear tire of JD Beach. JD getting it sideways. He's already been passed into the corkscrew, and he knows he needs to lead him through there. A 126.5. A 126.5, so not quite the qualifying pace that we've seen, but this is the way JD thinks. I saw him at dinner last night, and we talked about briefly race strategy, because JD wasn't talking about lap times. He was just talking about, how do I race my teammate Garrett Gerlach? And right now, JD is doing it. And Garrett looks to be a little patient.
Well, Garrett's got to be patient right now, and he's just got to. But the thing is that when he takes the lead, the problem is he can't open the door, Greg. And if he can't open the door, he can't run his line.
So we saw the exit of Valentin de Bees. Whoop! Garrett Gerlach trying to go around the outside of JD. It looks like JD got on the binders a little harder, but that'll stay the way it is. But we saw the exit of M4X Star Suzuki rider Valentin de Bees just in the corner that they're coming up to right now. And Hannah, do you have Valentin down there?
Yeah, Valentin has made his way back down into the pits. Valentin, why don't you tell us a little bit about what just happened?
I went a little bit more wide, but wasn't. It was more or less my line, and I released the brake and I crashed with no brake, so that was a little bit strange. But maybe I make a mistake that I don't understand, so I have to watch that, look at the data and understand what's going on. But it was a little bit disappointing, because this morning I was feeling really great on my bike, and was a really great improve compared to the race. So that's bad before the holiday, but that's part of the race.
Well, we're glad you're okay.
All right, right, thank you. And wow, we just saw what could have been absolute disaster up there in the corkscrew.
But see, this is what's happening. I want everybody at home to really pay attention to what's going on here, because right now, what JD's doing is he's getting in, parking it at the apex, driving off the corner. Now, when they come up over turn 1, watch how tight he goes into turn 2. As they come up over the top of the hill, he's going to beeline it kind of for the inside of the corner, just like he's doing right now. It's closing off the entry for Garrett to try to go underneath him. He's doing the same thing everywhere. Now, he's going to have felt Garrett up at the top of that corkscrew that time. Garrett's getting a run on him through turn 6 and up the hill. Garrett right now has to get a run on him out of this turn 3, get a good run out of turn 4, and then he's going to have to try to get in the draft and try to duck out and do something with JD in turn 5. But JD, see how he keeps the bike over to the left? It's making it real hard for Garrett to do what he wants to do. Here you go, Greg. Turn 5. He's in there too deep, though. He's going to probably run a little bit wide, trying to open that up for JD on the exit. See, that's the pattern that you'll start to see by JD running the line he's running. Now, Garrett gets a great run through turn 6. See, look at the drive. JD's going to pull it back over to the left-hand side of the track. He's going to close this off and make it very difficult for Garrett to go underneath in the corkscrew.
You can see Garrett there. He's not rushing it now, and that's really the big thing. Gerlach has definitely matured over the last couple of years in terms of how he views a race. And the question is, can JD get into his head and get Garrett frustrated so Garrett makes a mistake? And the other thing, of course, is what's JD doing to the Dunlop tires to really maintain this place? Hannah, what's going on with the Dunlop tires?
Now, JD and Garrett are both on the extra soft rear, but something that might be interesting to see how it unfolds as the race progresses is that Garrett's actually on a soft front, and JD's on the medium front, and both are on the extra soft rear. So we'll have to see how that kind of unravels as the race continues.
All right, perfect. That's awesome.
Yeah, and that's a good bit of information to see. I'm just, this is the kind of race, you heard JD say it the best, he's a racer. I'm a racer. He's not just going to lay over and let Garrett just pull off and just collect your 5 points on me when you only be 4 points behind. Looks like Nolan Lampkin has gone down somewhere. Maybe we're hearing is the top of the corkscrew. Looks like Gage Reese is involved in that also. So both of these guys are walking away. Thank goodness for that. And but what JD's doing right now, he's dirt tracking. This is what dirt trackers, they like to get in there and block pass and do things like that. And JD right now is just making it to where if Garrett's going to go by, he's got to do the long run. Now watch, pulling over to the left.
Yeah, but there should be some flags waving at the top of the hill, so that's going to be...
And Garrett saw that. It's a great call, Greg. Garrett saw that. It looks like there's a little debris on the track, possibly. Got to make sure no bikes have come across in the put gravel. See how tight JD's going down in the rainy curve. These are all the places where Garrett was so fast yesterday.
Here's a look at the aftermath of the crash. Yeah, Nolan.
Looks like Nolan there, and Gage might be just up. Oh. Poor Nolan. You can see there's Gage.
Sometimes.
They're both crashing in the gravel again. So good that both these kids are okay though.
Hopefully they're going to be up and okay. And sometimes that happens. Oh, here we go. Side by side they go, and it looks like Garrett's got the inside line, a little wheel up in the air. Garrett's going in there pretty deep. Can JD get it stopped? He's going to have to square this corner up. Oh, wow, what a move by Gerlach.
That's what he has to do.
Now, can JD gather it back up? We've seen this at other times during the course of the season where Gerlach gets ahead, then gets a little bit of a gap for a lap or two, and JD's able to collect himself. So we'll see. This is the part of the racetrack. We're going to be coming up to the top of the hill here.
He's just got to fire back immediately. That's the thing, and he's got to try to stay closer. The hard part is if Garrett, see how tight Garrett went into 5?
Yeah.
What did it do to his drive?
Yeah, it definitely
hurt him.
It hurt him. However, we know that there could be still waving yellow flags at the top of this hill. So if JD is not able to strike at the top of the corkscrew.
And looking at this though, the thing is, Greg, is that if Garrett can't run the line, okay, now see how much he opened up the corkscrew there? He opened it up. He's probably going to have a little bit of a gap. See the gap now?
Yeah.
Now Garrett, he's just got to try to put his head down, forget JD for a lap. He's got to just try to put his head down, run where he wants to run. He knows he's got the pace. So now we're going to be able to take a look at this. Gerlach, fastest sector 3 of his race so far. 19-second split. He just went his fastest. Now, if he can get across this line and put a good, solid lap together, we're going to get a chance to see if he can pull away. This is the two guys coming down in through the corkscrew.
Yeah, and you talk about different lines. Gerlach just gets that bike transitioned so quickly. Another characteristic of that change from the 200 width tire to the 180 that Dunlop has now for these riders is the ability to go from side to side, what we call flickability. And so Gerlach really loves the way that the new rear tire is able to get this Yamaha R6 from side to side.
Yeah, and see, JD's just doing everything he can to go with him, and he's close. He's close, but he's not close enough to make a pass. See how tight Gerrit is there?
Yeah.
Gerrit doesn't want to let JD go through. He's just got to control that for a lap or two and try to run where he wants to run. 26.4 for Gerrit on that last lap. He's just ran his fastest personal second sector, the fastest one of the races. We got to look back here at Benny Solis. He's about 9 seconds behind our leaders. He's got an 8-second lead over the battle for fourth, which right now is Jason Aguilar running fourth place on a super stock bike. But for Benny Solis, he's doing everything he can to get that fourth podium of the year on that Callum Ventures Honda CBR 600.
Good ride by Benny Solis.
Heard something there, you know?
Yeah, heard something there. It sounded kind of weird. Here's a battle as we go back. This is it. Aguilar, Daytona Anderson. So 96 is Aguilar, 104 Daytona Anderson. Shane Richardson, the 26 in the mix, as well as Nick McFadden, Connor Blevins, Michael Gilbert. This is the battle for the podium, except for Daytona Anderson. I mean, in terms of Superstock 600.
Superstock, yes.
So you'll notice that those red number plates.
No, it's exactly right. Here you go. Jason went underneath Daytona at the top of the corkscrew, but poor Daytona, he's stuck in the middle of 5 guys all battling for not only a championship, 4 guys battling for a championship, battling for a race win, and he's just kind of right in the middle of all of them. He's running very fast pace also. They've gotten to the 28s, these guys. So very, very close battle here in Superstock.
Aguilar and the Aguilar Racing Yamaha. Daytona Anderson on that M4 Ridiculous Racing Suzuki. You go back to Shane Richardson. He's on the Palmetto Motorsports Team New Zealand. He is a New Zealander. He and his 2 buddies cruising around the United States racing. Number 16, of course, is Nick McFadden out of Owensboro, Kentucky on that M4 Med-Age Suzuki. A good look at the 37, Connor Blevins on the Excel Machines Racing Kawasaki. And Blevins third in the championship.
And this is a great battle. This is what the Superstock 600 class is so competitive this year. This guy here up front, he did the double at the last round. And right behind him, Shane Richardson's the only one that hasn't won out of that group so far.
Carolyn Olsen, the 43 and 18th spot right now. So Carolyn Olsen coming all the way over here from Norway. She's on the Mean Motorsports Yamaha. This is the 2017 version, a bike which she's only had underneath her now for 3 races.
Yep.
So she's still learning that motorcycle, getting all kinds of crazy setups. So she's our first place woman in the race right now. Not our only woman in the race, but our highest place in 18th spot.
Yep, and she's got Debrino just in front of her. So here we go. Daytona Anderson's got a little bit of a run on Jason Aguilar right now as they come up over turn 1. But he's not quite able to do anything. Right now, Aguilar's loving it. See Michael Gilbert trying to go underneath Connor Blevins back there. As they head into turn 2, he's going to run it a little bit wide. Connor's going to duck it back underneath him. See if Michael does anything going into turn 3. Not quite. Now, did you hear the rev limiter there? I can hear rev limiter. When I went and watched this the other day, Jason Aguilar does something a little different than the rest of the Superstock guys. He comes out of turn 2 and just runs it on the limiter all the way down to turn 3. So just a little bit different. Back to Benny Solis. Benny Solis is up the road from those guys, from that big battle. He's about 10 seconds up the road, Greg, from them. So Benny's got kind of a lonely race going right now. He's begging for a back marker. He wants to see somebody still on the track with him right now.
But I have to give it to Benny Solis because he's been very consistent. His fastest lap of the race in 28.0, last time by at 28.1, only 4/10 off of what he qualified on. So back up front, Garrett Gerlach has not really gapped JD Beach. They're in the 26s, flat 26s.
JD Beach has gone 26 flat, which is the quickest he's gone all weekend. So yes, him and his crew found something overnight. He's able to stick there now. So now Garrett's got a race on his hands. He's led for the last 3 or 4 laps. He's going to continue to see +0 on his board. The thing about Laguna is it takes a pretty physical pass when you got 2 guys this close together to try to do something. And it's going to take something pretty spectacular to try to get by Garrett. So, but now Garrett's seen the +0. He's kind of been able to run his pace, run his lines, and JD's back there making a plan all the while.
Now I'm looking at these Dunlop tires too, Jason. I want to keep a close eye on that front tire. As Hannah told us that Garrett's on that soft and JD's on that medium. There's a little bit of gap there for Garrett now over JD Beach. Both of them on that same rear tire, but it doesn't really matter that they're on the same rear tire because if they work that tire in different ways, it could definitely feel a lot different as we start to wind the laps down here in this Supersport Superstock 600 race. Garrett Gerlach Monster Energy, Yamalu YES Graves Yamaha, leading his teammate right now, and this would flip-flop the championship, where Gerlach would have a 4-point lead. There's 5 points between first and second place, and JD Beach started this race 1 point ahead of his teammate.
Oh, man, almost lost the front there. That's going to help JD. JD's going to see that and give him that's going to give him a big boost of confidence, knowing that his teammate's pushing that hard. JD's trying to work something. He's going to cut it back to the inside, but not quite. Now, Greg, did you see what's coming up? We got some back markers coming up. And we made mention of this earlier on in the broadcast that, you know, Hannah made a great point that these guys now are going to be coming across some back markers.
Wow, that moment there. And Jason, I don't know if that was, here's another look at it, Jay.
Yep, just lost the front, maybe touched the curb.
Touched the curb, I thought. It looked like it was a little bit of curb action, so just that line. Oh yeah, and the bump, it was that bump on the curb as well. So that was just a little bit of an inside line, little turn it in early kind of thing. That's how good his Yamaha R6 is working though. Here we go, come up and on some back markers.
It's Ryan Harper, it's Josh Picard. They got out of the way, so that's good. Those guys got out of the way nicely and didn't upset the flow of what's going on between these two guys here too much.
Garrett Gerlach now having his way these late stages of the race. 12 of 19 already in the books as they're halfway through Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca at the moment, down through Rainey Curve, named after the CEO of MotoAmerica, Wayne Rainey. Of course, living real close to Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. Wayne was here and he was like, hey, can we have 5 of these this next year? So, yeah.
Real close to him. Easier for Wayne to get here for sure.
So Benny Solis sitting in 3rd place overall right now. So this is the battle for 4th on the racetrack. Also the Superstock 600. And I talked to Jason Aguilar earlier on in the weekend. And I said, Jay, you know, you really done well. I mean, you've won the last 2 races in a row. Can you start going on a tear? And he just smiled at me and said, I sure am going to try.
Absolutely, yeah. That's, you know, when you come off the confidence of a win like that, it's a big deal. And you can see Michael and Connor have fallen back a little bit. Michael's got through on Connor, so I'm sure that Michael maybe trying to get by Connor has created a little bit of a gap.
Shane Richardson from New Zealand. Shane with some big plans for our off season, racing the Kawasaki ZX6R. They're actually they have a ZX6R 600cc. This is the 636 on the number 26. They have one in New Zealand. They're going to get a bike together and go race from October until the MotoAmerica season starts, because obviously it's winter right now in New Zealand. Yep. So Shane Richardson and his crew planning on racing non-stop and coming back here to MotoAmerica for 2018 and race in the Supersport class. So I hope they find some support and we're able to see Shane Richardson on a Supersport machine next year. So here it is. This is the story up front. We're going to get another look at the lead. Last time by, Garrett had that front end issue, but now he's really started to pull the pin on JD Beach.
He really has, yeah. Then when we look at the lap time here, when they come by, both the 26.4s.
Same gap.
But that gap, there's just a little bit. But we've seen JD do this before. Yeah. We've seen JD go back a little bit and then
chill a bit.
Then chill a little bit. You see that lap 12 there. There's where that 0.4 gap kind of formulated, Greg. 26.5 to 26.9. But we've seen JD do this. JD's not too concerned or flapping too much right now. He's just kind of knows he's still got a few laps to go.
Might want to get a haircut after this, because I'm just saying it might slow him down a little bit, that arrow.
A little bit extra
just,
back there.
You know, if you lose by 1/1000th of a second, I'm just saying.
Now, I saw Garrett that time. He's opened up turn 5 a little bit more now. He's actually opened up that entry, and you know, he's kind of running where he was normally running. But JD definitely has found something, and he's getting this bike. You know, he's closing that gap now, Greg. There's nothing in it again.
Fastest lap of the race goes to JD Beach, and he did say he found something. And from qualifying, JD qualified at a 26.4, and the fastest lap was on lap 9 at a 26 flat. So that was the last, not the last time by the stripe, but the time before that. So both riders setting their fastest times on lap number 9. JD in chase right now of the number 1 plate holder, Garrett Gerlach. Both riders on that Monster Energy Yamalu YES Graves Yamaha. And right now it looks like Garrett, when he has his way, Jason, when he has the lines that he wants to pick, he's got the lean angle all day long. He's just so smooth on the throttle.
See how much JD's bike is backing in?
Yeah.
His bike's just backing in just a little bit more than Garrett's. Garrett's just kind of he's out there just kind of running his line. He looks very comfortable now, and I feel JD's doing everything he can to just kind of stay in touch. Right now, JD's biggest friend is seeing some people coming up in front of him. He's hoping somehow, some way that you know, he can get Garrett in a spot where he might get a little bit compromised going by somebody, and JD might be able to just put a little sneak attack on him and try to get back past.
It just looks like in that section, the turn that we just saw, turn number 5, that Garrett's just able to roll into that corner a little bit more, and JD's just trying to get the thing stopped. Correct. Because on the flat section, turns 3 to 4, JD is able to close that gap significantly.
Agree, yeah, for sure. And I think that you're spot on there, Greg. He can close in on the brakes, but the problem is that when his bike's backing in, he's holding the lever on until you see it come back in line, and Garrett's rolling through at that point. And
just different riding styles.
A little bit different, but I mean, obviously, both of them are very, very successful. There you go, back up to this battle for 4th. Overall, Jason Aguilar's definitely got a handle on this super stock field, though. As you can see right now, Shane Richardson's just behind Daytona Anderson, but right now, Jason Aguilar just ran his personal fastest lap of the race, actually 2 laps ago, 28.7. So he's been able to get into the high 28s right now. Coming down through the corkscrew. A good look at what these guys go through from left to right.
96 is Aguilar, 104 Daytona Anderson, 26 Shane. Shane
all out of shape coming down the hill there.
Oh boy. And the 16 of Nick McFadden on that M4 Med-Age Suzuki. And there's a good look at Benny Solis right now in 3rd spot. And Benny, he's dropped about a second in his time, but he probably had to get through some traffic there. But 28 flat, so.
And he knows, Greg, you know, the thing is when you're in, this guy will never give up. He fights hard all the time. He's incredibly fit. But the thing is that we saw what happened at the last race, what happened for the Bees. And these guys up front are racing hard again, and who knows what's going to happen. Benny's got to keep his head down right now. He's got a for sure podium if he just finishes the race. But he's just got to kind of keep plugging along, not do anything silly, because he's got such a big gap behind him. But Garrett, you know, now that gap's getting a little bit bigger, isn't it? Just a little bit. They run down into turn 10 here.
This will signify 3 laps to go. So it's kind of at this point where if JD thinks he's got a shot at winning this race, he's going to have to start closing this gap if he's got the speed to do it. Let's take a look at these lap times, because 26.4 last go around. 26.4, 26.4. So JD Beach, a couple hundredths of a second quicker than Garrett. Oh, look at JD, goes in there sideways, just trying to get that bike slowed down and turn and make up some gap, but Garrett just rolls so well through those corners.
Yeah, that's exactly right, and I think that right now, JD, his bike, the way it backs in, Greg, it just hurts his corner speed a little bit. You see Garrett just runs out quite a bit more, out over the curbing, and just opens up turn 3 on the exit just a little bit more than JD does there too. But Garrett's kind of just running his own line, but JD's still sitting right there on the back of him.
This could get really interesting. They know what's at stake here. JD knows the mistake that he made the last time we saw him in Utah Motorsports campus. JD, after the crash, came out publicly on Instagram, on Facebook, everywhere, and apologized, you know, to Garrett and to his team. But JD Beach is a racer, and he's not going to take what happened at Utah Motorsports campus and not throw a shot at his teammate if he has it.
Yep.
He's not going to go crazy. JD's been in the game too long, but there's daylight. He's going to go for it.
There's no question about it. That race was that race, and that was a long time ago. So, you know, 3 weeks is a long time ago in a racer's world. You're only as good as your last race. This battle is just continuing to rage here between Daytona and Jason. And yeah, you're exactly right. JD's just going to keep fighting over and over and over again.
So the battle for 4th looks like Aguilar, of course, on that Super Stock 600 machine versus a Supersport machine. One of the biggest differences, of course, in those motorcycles is actually going to be the weight. A Super Stock 600 bike, the minimum weight allowed is about 6 pounds heavier. Oh, looks like Aguilar.
That's Aguilar that's crashed. No, it's not. It's a back marker. Excuse us. That's a back marker. That's Ryan Harper.
Okay,
Ryan Harper's gone. Boy, it just, we heard
Sorry,
it.
Folks.
Yep,
Sorry,
we
folks.
heard it.
We heard it. We saw the smoke. So unfortunately for Ryan Harper, he is out of that one. And sometimes you can lose your focus when you're getting lapped by a bunch of people. So
that happened early in the corner for Ryan. Probably just missed turn-in point just a little, and it flattens out on the left-hand side of turn 10. And if you miss that camber just a little bit, that's what happens. So, but good to see him up and okay.
All right, so Ryan Harper up and okay on the Moto Shop Yamaha R6 with 2 laps to go. The gap remains the same. There's a look at third place. Benny Solis having a lonely ride on his own back in the 28s. So Solis, this is, listen, this is the Honda Championship of Monterey Peninsula. To have a Honda CBR 600 up on the podium would be spectacular for his team, for American Honda. I know that there's a whole host of people. The final lap of this race, and now Garrett Gerlach just sets the fastest lap of the race on lap 18, a 26.0. It's get serious time.
Yep, and that's exactly what he had to do. All of his splits were a little bit quicker than JD's there. There's nobody that can really impede him. They see somebody just up in front of him, but they're far, they got a big enough gap right now, Greg. He's got a big enough gap where he can kind of take his time and get past anybody that might come in his way just a little bit. But looking at the splits, JD hasn't been able to gain anything, and Garrett's just ran a perfect last sort of, say, 7, 8, 9 laps of this race so far. He looks like he's coming up right now on Brandon Cleland, who himself is running 18th right now, and he's just getting out of the way, so great job by him. He must have got the blue flag.
975 on the M4XR Suzuki out of Fort Worth, Texas, getting out of the way and clearing the path. Somebody went really wide at the top of that
Brandon.
course.
He's just getting out of the way. Probably saw JD come in, and unless it was, I hope it wasn't JD that ran wide. No, it looks like JD's right there.
Final 2 corners of this racetrack on the final lap of the only super sport race here at Mazda Raceway, Laguna Seca.
Oh, look how tight he's going into turn 11.
He doesn't know that he put the hammer down and walked away from his teammate, but he's going to do it in fine style to take his 4th win of the season. Your reigning champ, Garrett Gerlach, takes the victory here at Mazda Raceway, Laguna Seca.
It's a great job by Garrett. You can see how happy he is. JD did an awesome job, by the way, too, sticking in there for as long as he did. And here comes Benny Solis down through Rainy Curve. It's a big deal for this team to be able to stick it back on the podium. And a great job for them, especially like you said, Greg, that Honda's the main sponsor of this race. It's going to be nice to see Honda on the podium.
Get it nice and clean through this final corner. And Benny Solis will dash to the start-finish line, take the checkered flag for his 4th podium appearance of the season, his 4th third-place finish. Boy, it would have been interesting to see them. Oh, here we go.
Big battle for 4th place, but Jason Aguilar's come up on Daniel Diaz and Jared Nassasti, and look at Daytona Anderson. He's going to try to finish 4th overall.
Oh, he does it! Daytona Anderson scoots on by to be 4th place over Jason Aguilar. So Daytona Anderson might have just been playing a little cat and mouse game, but he'll do it. So congratulations to Daytona Anderson on that finish. Anderson, of course, last time we saw him actually finish 3rd. So a good 4th place finish. Only a couple races now for Daytona Anderson on that M4 ridiculous
great job
racing
by him,
Suzuki.
for sure. I mean, he's getting used to that bike, but Jason Aguilar wins Superstock again. We've got our first 3-peat winner of the year.
And Caroline Olsen on the final lap of the race out of 17th place throws that motorcycle on the ground, and that'll take her right out of that points. Oh, with 2 corners to go, pushing hard, Carolyn goes down. That ain't easy air suit activated, though. It looks like she's going to be up and okay. And that would have been about 9th place in Superstock 600. So Carolyn Olsen out of that top 10 points paying position. But JD Beach put on a masterful performance early. He showed us all how to race Garrett Gerlach. But Garrett was just too fast today for the 95, and that will equal up the tally between these 2 riders in terms of race wins. So podium appearances, I mean, this year, JD Beach has 4 wins, 3 second-place finishes, and 2 thirds. For Garrett Gerlach, 4 wins, 4 second-place finishes, and only 1 third, and that's going to be the difference on how the points are tallied up, as Gerlach will take a 4-point advantage in this championship here. So congratulations, Gerlach, JD Beach, Benny Solis standing on the podium in the Superstock class. It's going to be Jason Aguilar, Shane Richardson able to get 2nd place again.
Here you go. Jason just got, I don't know if he got held up so much, but he just wasn't able to drive off the corner the way he normally does. Daytona was just able to sneak him by just half a bike length. So good for Daytona. Never gave up. You see Shane Richardson coming across there. And it actually looks like Jason just maybe got into 11 a little bit hot.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
And he just wasn't able to get on the gas where he needed to get on the gas.
And the difference between that battle, 0.033 of a second. Shane Richardson is going to stand on the podium, as well as Nick McFadden in the Superstock 600 class. Great result here at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk to the winner of this race and find out how it went for Garrett. Stay tuned.